Shalom. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay, awesome. We're just waiting for our sister to join. I did accept the request, sis. Oh, okay. Peace, Yuya. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, everyone. Yeah, we were just building.
Before we get started, we want to welcome everybody to the space. Welcome everyone who is new. And for everybody who has been joining us weekly, we want to thank you for joining us again. We are sisters from the House of Yuya. And for those of you who don't know, the House of Yuya is spearheaded by our master, Jegna, and founder of Our New Life Global Ministries, Chief Yuya. And so every Sabbath, that's every 7 days, we come on this channel and go live following his message, and we share some of our insights as women in the House of Yuya. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're following us and staying in tune, we've been following these messages that he's been giving us, our master, the science of the righteous family. And so we're going to continue that, sharing our insights right here today. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you didn't catch the message that our master gave today, be sure after this live is over, be sure to go over to the Our New Life Global Ministries YouTube channel and check out that live. It's going to be called The Vetting Process. So with that being said, we're going to get into it. The vetting process. Let's see how you feeling.
Well, we had a question for everybody. We're just gonna jump right in. We had a question for all of y'all.
Yeah, so women, if you're vetting or if you have been vetted before, and if you don't know what that is, it's the process of when you and a man, you guys are coming together to see if you're compatible to be able to mate, to become a union, man and wife or consort, however that looks. But have you ever been in a process or a situation where a brother was vetting you and they were solid, they were a good brother, and maybe you thought, oh, this might be too good to be true, or I don't know, it could have been going good, and you asked your homegirls, your sisters, your mother, somebody for some advice, and you played that card and just messed everything up? Has that ever happened to you? You just blew it. And if it did, what were some of your takeaways after the process? Like after that was messed up, did you regret it? Did you try to go back and fix it? Did you learn from that lesson and move forward and say, you know what? Moving forward, this is what I'm gonna do and this is what I'm not gonna do. So share your story with us.
Yeah, there were so many things that was listed. I can say I guess some people will call it like red flags, if you will. Like when you vet someone, it's like you notice certain things, but you may just ignore it. And I know I can say like there were certain red flags that I ignored, but then also like realizing, okay, well you was that person too, so you attracted what you were. But I do think about like some of the things that she mentioned in terms of like a man like emoting maybe more than you are. It's like that's something that has been an experience of mine. Is like, okay, well, like sometimes like that person or that the male or they're more emotional than you, and I've had that experience. It's like, okay, as a woman, like especially being in I knew for so long, it's like, how do you deal with this? Like, how do you deal with this situation? It's like, okay, you know what your role is supposed to be, and you read the Anu way, and it's like, okay, a man, like he has control over his emotions, and it's like, okay, but you're the woman, and it's like, okay. And I think about what she shared, like sometimes you sit in that silence, you shut your mouth, you don't be quick to jump in and say anything, but it can be a challenge though, because it's like, okay, something is happening that should not be. Like this man is like emoting, and it's like, okay, as a woman, it's like, how do you handle it? And I just would like use the silence, like, all right, just sit back and just be quiet, because like what could you do? Like step up and be a man in that moment and be like, well, you're not supposed to be like, because then I would be functioning out of alignment, what was taught. So I do think about like the things that you shared, and I connected to my experience, like, oh, like if you would have like maybe like did not ignore the red flags, um but I could have been a red flag to someone else too. Like I could have been a red flag. Okay, you're not doing anything. You're not finishing school. You're not striving towards anything. So I could have been someone that was like, yeah, you getting checked off the list. we don't, we ain't gonna,
Might have been a red flag and just didn't even know it. You made a great point, but when you said like striving towards something and you finishing school or whatever it is that you're doing, I think about there was something he said about finding someone who is wife material and you're not actually building them. You know what I mean? And I went off into like creative mode, and he said that because I'm like, I know what you mean. Like, have you ever, I don't know, I used to do this, but years ago, where I would go out on Saturdays and I would go to these old antique shops, or maybe just go walking down the street and you just find a bunch of like random metal objects or just old pieces of material that you just find, and you can look at a piece and say, you know what, that might actually be a really great art piece. You know what I mean? That might actually be something worth picking up and taking home. Or I may buy it from this shop that's like $5 or whatever, but I can turn it into something that's this masterpiece that's worth thousands of dollars, or it could be priceless. And I think about that when he talks about finding a woman who is wife material versus having to build it, because you see what's there and what's in her. And there's an artist, Betty Starr, who's like that. She creates work where she just finds these random objects and she creates these beautiful pieces, but you would never think like, oh, that's what was there when you saw it on the side of the road, or when you saw it in that shop, that old antique shop. That's what was there. Yes. So
yeah. I do think about like how we were not taught our value, and I wonder, like, sisters, maybe you can answer and jump in on this, but do you have any regret in terms of like the things that you've done that may have took away from your value, and now you're in a place where it's like, oh man, like I wish I would have a savior coming in my life, or Messiah, but I've done things that devalued myself so that I'm not even qualified anymore. Like how do y'all like feel about that? Like, what do you think about that? Like, are you someone that has that regret? Because like I'm sure it may be like difficult. We talk about vetting, and you may be like, oh man, like I've been a person that has been like not been able to get a good man, because like I'm like on that checklist that's being checked off, like nope, and
yeah. But I think it's also powerful, like if you're striving for that space of just being that woman who is wife material, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we all kind of came from a messed up situation, all of us, being here. So, but it's like, are you actively striving to be a better woman, or to be able to be vetted, so there's always room. And I think about, even in that process of like, if you are being vetted and you are coming together with a man, and he talks about like, there's no particular arrival space, right? So if we're actively striving, to be wife material, to be married, it's like, it's a process and it's a journey, you know what I mean? And it's like, on that process of that journey, if you're consider being an artist, consider, like he mentioned, that being an artist, whether you're a musician, painter, writer, whatever, it's like you're committing yourself into this relationship, or this marriage, or this union, however you want to say it. You're committing yourself to something, and as you're creating that piece of art, there's a journey. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna put something on the painting that may not even look right at first, or you might be putting down notes or writing certain words to a new book or something, and it may be weird at first, it may be off at first, but as you're going through the journey, you're learning different things, and you're extracting, and you're putting things in there, you're moving things around, and it's just a beauty in the whole process. And it's like we may have in our mind like what it looks like, you know what I mean? Like we all have something in our mind like, well, I want to be like this. This is how I envision myself as a wife. This is how I envision myself within a family dynamic or within a marriage. And it's like we may never get to it right then and there. But that process of becoming that actually is the exciting part,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and she did speak about like how a man wants a woman who is like evolving, growing, and changing. She's striving, you know. So I think that that's a beautiful, that's the beautiful part of like where a woman may be in her life where she is actually striving, and a man can see that and be like, all right, I can work with you, you know. Kofi and me to say, Kofi and me to say, I am pretty private when it comes to that. But even in privacy, unwelcome opinions always come. Sometimes they are correct, and other times I have to be resolute and protect the gift I received. I'm not sure what you're responding to, Kotimina, if you can kind of like give a little bit of background as to what you're responding to, but even
I
in
think
private.
that, like if you're in a situation where you're being vetted, I think this is what she's saying. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ikosi, but if you're in a situation where you're being vetted, and let's say you're, you know, you might go to a sister or a aunt or somebody and ask for some advice and take that advice, you know, it could be wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Unwelcome opinions always come sometimes. Yeah, that might be what she's talking about. You took some
Even in
bad advice and
opinions. I mean, I mean, I think that you can't let that stuff affect you. You know, it's like, 'cause if you have that like hedge around you, that man there is kind of like, I'm not worried about what other people think. I could care less. You know, and then she did speak about like have like you. He was like, you're not a warrior. Like if you like over there worried about what people think, your family, your members think, your relatives, it's kind of like, okay, where's the warrior energy in you that said like, no, I chose this. I'm with my man, and this is what we do, and I can care less what anybody think.
oh yeah.
Walk somewhere. Walk away.
Lots of ways that it's a certain level of, I won't say insanity, but you do have to be kind of radical to get into that frame of mind. And even, I mean, we keep taking it back to artists, but think of the most like dopest artists that we know, or creators or singers or whatever. They usually are kind of off. Like people might say, "Oh, you crazy for that," you know. But there's a level of commitment that they have to their creation. And I think about when you're coming together with a man, like essentially you guys are creating something. It's an experience. You know what I mean? It's something that can only be created between you and that person. So it's a dance. You know what I'm saying? Like we're dancing, and when you move, I move, and we're tangoing, and everything like that is everything that's beautiful. And it's like, well, if I'm locked into you, I can't focus on what other people have going on because I'm gonna miss the song. You know, this might be the best part of the song, and this is the part where we do our dip. But if I'm focusing on what the next person is saying, it's just kind of like I'm messing up what we got going on. So what's more important? You know, it's like what's more important. So
Yeah, right. It's like that's like a big no-no. Like having third party, you know, people like trying to get inside of your business. It's like,
yeah, let's see. Let's go to the chat again. We have. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's see. Akoti Yamina says you asked a question about asking for advice. Yep. So that's what she was referring to. The I Knew Man says, wait a minute. I'm losing my spot. He says a lot of women just want to be married, and that's how they've been trained. But you don't see the aspects of wifehood being taught, especially in the U.S. This is true. This is true. I
you definitely don't. Oh, I was just gonna like build on that point because I know my mother, she gave me the advice like, okay, here's what you do. She was like, you just find you someone with money, and you let them, you know, take care. I'm like, so you pretty much telling me to be a gold digger. That's the lesson you teaching me. And I'm like, that's mess. It's like what the heck? Like, but she is given like what she received, you know. But I just think about like what she is teaching. Like just sharing like, hey, this is like what you look for. It's like, man, if only we had this when we were like growing up, and we were able to negate certain decisions that we made. Because like, like just think about like the regret, that we may have. Like I know I have regrets. Like, oh man, if I would have just was told this, or granted I was hard headed, but still like, but just having it,
Advice. I think about what does it look like. You know what I mean? Like you can't really say like, oh, I want to be a wife, and you don't really have a actual example of what that looks like. And I think about sometimes people will tell you, like, you may have the TV examples, on TV, this is what a wife is, but until you're like up close in person and seeing it being acted out, like he talked about everybody having that role, I think about businesses, like you can market certain things, on social media or on the website, it can be marketed a certain way, but until you get inside like a business and see how it's ran, you don't really know how it actually works. You don't know what it really looks like. How does it look like to be a CEO of a business, or a king, So I think about that when it comes to not being taught. A lot of times it's just, well, we ain't never really seen it, so you don't really know what it looks like,
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Dr. Ahava says, one of the things that stood out to me is being a part of a spiritual community. Yes, I have regrets that didn't have the knowledge of what I should have. It's important to become valuable. I would agree. It's very important to become valuable. Let's see.
And there's no excuse for this, because man.
Master says, if you were hard-headed, you didn't learn to be told, or you didn't earn to be told. Why would someone waste gems on those not listening? That's true. Because it's like if you know your value, you're not gonna throw your pearls to a swine. You can't just give. Like he said, there's no free game. Nothing's given away. So if I'm putting something in you, do you have holes or deficits within yourself where you're not able to be receptive to that? So
some people don't want a Messiah, like he shared in the last segment. Some people don't want that. They don't want to say like, oh, this is too much for me. I don't want to like, step up. They may be too tethered to like Babylon, if you will. Like I like what I'm doing out here. I don't want to grow. I don't want to change. And then you have the whole narrative of women say like, just accept me for who I am. This is who I am. It's kind of like our nature is to transform and change. So you want to stay stagnant and stuck. And it's like what benefit is that? Like what benefit are you bringing to a relationship? But there are some relationships, like the friendships even like that. Like when she spoke about the girlfriend, you have girlfriends in your ear, saying certain things. And it's kind of like, that has to, like, when you're in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, you got to kind of like, okay, I got to put that on the back burner. Like that can't come over here, But I do think about that sacred aspect of being in a union. And I think about my, even they were not perfect, of course they were not, but there were some things that I did observe with my mother that I'm like, I'm like, okay, that was good. The fact that she always say, I have to go and ask their father first, or this is not something that he approves of. At the time, I was like, you just throwing him under the bus. But no, she was saying like, no, this is what this is what he wants. This is what he, desires. So I was like, okay, that was good. That was good to observe. And then even like, okay, go see what your father thinks. Go ask him first. We go to him first. So there were some things that she did do. Was kind of like, okay, that was good to model that. So I appreciate seeing that.
Yeah. There's a reverence. She had a reverence for him, even in, I guess even in dysfunction. Like if you're seeing something that's functional, but it might be dysfunctional, but there's bits and pieces you could take away and say, all right, I see now, I get that. And that's a great example to me. Like, I still have reverence for him, which we should. Let's see, we got some more stuff coming in the chat. So, Master Menelek says, TV will only teach you what supports the status quo. Even if there was a time where the nuclear family was good for the economy, the narrative is now single females and effeminate males. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we even have we have systems. Well, we know about that. We have systems that's built off of that single female household. You have grants now. You can get grants if you're a single female, own a business. You can get money, and you don't need a man, and all this stuff. It's just, it pushes a narrative that actually it just doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for people. And I think that being a woman who's like, nah, like I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do what actually works for our people. It might be hard, but to say, no, I'm gonna actually join with this man, and we're gonna be together. We're gonna do this together as a union. That's very powerful, and that's how you
Absolutely.
back.
And
That's
that's
how you.
right. It's like that's why like we in the house of Yuya are doing a whole year of holy. This is like a year of consecration for us. So where we're watching what it is that we watch, we're not looking at anything that's poisonous to the mind right now for this whole entire year. And I have to say, like, when I was like watching certain shows, like it's so heavy, that narrative of the woman being out front and being the dominant force. And I can say, like, it was so hard, like finding like good shows and watching that sort of stuff. It's like, okay, what is there? Is nothing like new to watch here. It's like it's always constantly the same thing. This woman out front, and she telling the man what to do. And so, like, yeah, like that is what's on TV. So I found myself like going and finding, like, you know what, I'm gonna find like people who create their own programs. Trying to find things that are healthier to watch, because I'm gonna
Yeah.
this junk, and it's like, it is. It's like I can't even like take it and stomach it. It's like I don't watch. Like people like, like, I mean,
It's like detoxing. We're flushing it out all out of our system, and I mean, it's a beautiful process to go through. It's still like that process of becoming a wife, becoming of someone who's married material. You're going through a process. It's a journey, and creating what that looks like. So you're flushing out all of the nonsense, all of the Babylon. And when we say Babylon, for those who are new, we are talking about Western culture and anything that goes against the natural way that men and women in our community, how we were designed to function, as men and women together. So when we say Babylon, it's anything that goes against that. So just want to make that clear. Maximilian says, let me see. Your culture must set the standard, not TV or social media, which informs the masses. That's right. And we are set apart. So we don't seek to do what the masses do, but we seek to, be an example and bring the people to the Most High. So,
that part.
What else we got?
Man, he said, also a lot of males aren't trained to bring order to chaos, adding an imbalance and lack of men.
I know he said being trained to bring order, and we got that lesson from the creation story. Let there be order, let there be light, let there be order, and that's something that we receive when a man is present. I know Master talked about when you meet an artist and they're kind of, spacey and all over the place and just don't have a schedule, and, a man has to bring order into that woman's life. And it's very true, very true.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay. Master said, what's so great about being wedded? Why is that an objective? I'm going to think about what's in the odd new way, like how, family, with two or more in the midst of, when they're in the midst together, like Yah is in that space. I do think about representing like the kingdom of heaven on earth. So just being what our Creator has designed us to be. So, I think there's so many benefits to being wedded. Koti, you want to add more onto that?
Well, when I see objective, I think of adding on. The objective is to add on. When we come together as a union, when we come together to be wedded, there is an opportunity to create something that's never been created before. And so, because you're never going to get the same combination, like if whatever you have with one woman may be totally different what you have with this woman, and whatever you guys are creating. So I see it wedding as an opportunity, and this could be me just speaking in a abstract way, but you're creating something that you'll leave behind. It's something that you're putting out into the world that you can't get anywhere else. And to me, that's valuable. You know what I mean? If it is of value and substance, if you're doing it the right way, and yes, the Most High, the Creator, is in the midst of it, then that's the value itself. And whatever that looks like, it may be children. You know, it may be just you and your husband or your mate or your consort. You guys are working towards something. You're working to build a community. You're working to just build up the character in each other so that you can do better and be a better value to the world. You know, I just think about that, and that could be, like I said, me just thinking a little bit more abstract, but that's
Yeah, I would just go to the basics of like women need to be covered, because like without that covering, it's like you kind of like lost. It's like you always need that man to kind of come in and be like, all right, I'm bringing that order, or else like you all over the place. It's, you know, you're not fulfilling purpose. You're kind of like just out there doing whatever. You know.
just
I mean,
kind of out.
yeah. Why?
You said being out there. I thought of Master's most recent release on the Consecration album. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to go to Spotify to check that album out, Consecration. But Seek Yah, and when he opens up the song saying like, "Stop running," like you running and blowing in the wind. So that's a prime example. Like if you're not covered and you're not married, you might just be out here kind of flowing in the wind and blowing in the wind, and that ain't it. Let's see. Anuum says, the overstanding the vetting process starting with family is crucial because the type of single-minded female you speak of can be spotted by following the narrative displayed by family. Thanks, though. Process. Babylon, unnatural acts, evil sin. Yes. We are not supposed to be alone. One of the first commandments was to be fruitful and multiply. Absolutely. It is not good for man to be alone. Many females come from feminist and female heavy homes. Very much so. Very much. Dr. Hava says, being wedded is one of the highest honors for a woman to be in a position to contribute to the family and nation building. I wonder, like, I want to ask women this. Because when she said like being married, like being wed is one of the highest honors for a woman, and we talked about like when you do see those women who are married and they have a family, they do not have time for the BS and they are about their business. And I just think about like having those conversations where it's like, man, how do you find value in whatever you're doing when you're not doing it for your family? Like I don't know if that's something that women struggle with. Like you might have a career, you might have something that you're doing, but it's like, man, it doesn't feel like it's worth anything. But then if you have a husband and you have your children and you do something and they saying, good job, mommy, or you know, that's my woman right there, good job, or I'm pleased with what you're doing. It does something different to you. It just puts you in a different, like, you know what? I'm gonna keep on going because they rooting for me, and okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experienced that, but
over 31 woman, wife, and mother mindset. She gets her honor for her man and her family, and that's what's important. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought about like when we did this segment on what is a woman, and Chief had came on there and was sharing some things, but it's like, okay, if we were created to be helpmeets, then if you don't have like a counterpart, you don't have a mate, you're not wedded, what the heck are you? Because our role as a woman is to help a man. So it's like, you're not functioning as a helpmeet, then what the heck are you doing? You're supposed to be helping a man. So it's like, like, what are you?
And women, have y'all ever felt that feeling? Because I have felt it. When you do something to help a man, your man, not just any man, but when you do something to help your man, and they kind of, I don't know, I guess they give you that look, and it's like, you did something right. You like, you just right. It's just like, yep, did that. I don't know, but I definitely have those moments. Sometimes you do stuff and it's like, you just
Oh, yay. Yeah.
feel different. Like, yep, did it. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do because it feels natural.
Yeah,
It feels natural.
it is. Oh, so I would say most of all having that priest of the homestead. Yeah, and
Mhm.
the chief said, "What is the weighted advantage for men?" He gives a
Oh,
help.
okay. What are we bringing? What are we bringing? What's for me? Well, I mean, I think also if you have a woman who is you're mated to and she's receptive to whatever it is that you have a vision for your seed, whatever it is, and she's bringing forth that idea or that thought and bringing it into a tangible form. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's an advantage. You have a vessel as a man. You have a vessel now where you can see, that thought or that idea manifested into real life. And then if she's a good wife, also a good wife, mother to your seed, or just in that union, she'll nurture it and it'll grow. You know what I mean? So,
I think about how a woman multiplies, be fruitful and multiply. She multiplies what that man gives to her, and she take it like, okay, I'm gonna like help and do this, boom, 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 for what you're doing. It's kind of like, yeah, I see this is my vision. This is what I would like to happen. And she like, all right, and she goes and take that and just like
mhm.
create a whole bunch of like different things that's like very helpful to what that man's vision is and what his mission is. So it's like she brings a lot of that his mission when she's functioning with that sort of mindset. I would say so. That's the advantage. Like whatever he's trying to get off the ground, you have this help me. She's like, I'm gonna help make it happen. So I think that's it. And
Make
then you have multiple women. It's like imagine what that's going like. Boom.
Make it happen. When you said that, like making it happen, I thought about like you could be a couple who might just be struggling, and let's say your husband or your man, he goes and he may only have like $10, $10, where he's like, okay, we struggling, whatever, but I'm gonna go to the store and grab, I don't know, I'm gonna grab some peanut butter, some jelly, and some bread, and whatever, and he brings it home, and then you take that what he's giving you, and you turn it into like this big meal. Like you just go all out. You put the peanut butter and the jelly on the bread, just really nice, and you take the ends off of the bread, and I don't know, maybe you make a little heart design on it, and you put it on a table on a plate, and you cover it up, and you put, I don't know, you find some roses outside and put it on the table, and then when he comes home, and you just like, bam, look what I did for you. It's like you took a thought or an idea, and then you made it beautiful. You made it, you brought it to life. You manifested something into a real life form, and then you put your touch on it. You know what I mean? That's what I thought about. That's what happened. Making it happen and giving you an experience that you're not gonna get with somebody else. It could just be in that moment. It's a beautiful moment that you guys shared. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sharing with someone like an idea I had for the retreat that's coming up. I was like, oh, if we can make food and like make certain like smiley faces, make little animals, and somebody was like, man, if you see the men, they probably gonna toss that. So I was like, I want to do it because even if that happens, I think that's something beautiful to kind of like, here's a smile for you, even if it's just a good laugh, like okay, that was, or even for the youth that's there, like doing stuff like that. But yeah, that was just my mind, just.
Yes. Women do. That's what we do. That's what we strive to do. And if you're not doing that, take some notes. Take some notes. Go back to the Our New Life Global Ministries YouTube channel and watch that episode of the vetting process and learn some things, you know.
Yeah, so
But
if
let's keep
you don't yeah, if you don't have the Anuway Foundations, you can download that for free on anulifeglobal.org because it lays out the courting process and what to look for in a mate as well, even having the required qualities that the man and woman should have. So, yeah, that information is in our doctrine as well. So, uh, because
so
we're
down.
not, uh-huh.
But the earning room's question, she said, "Oba question made me consider whether there is a difference between the desire to be married versus being a wife." Hmm. What is it? Because I think there's a difference. A wife is you may just want the title, but a marriage is a commitment. It's a lifelong commitment. So are you desiring to commit yourself to a union? You know, are you desiring to commit yourself to a process that you're starting and you actually have a desire to finish it? Whereas just being a wife is like, well, I just want the title. You know, what you think? Do you see a
Um,
difference in the two?
well, being married and being a wife, or wanting to be married versus wanting to be a wife. Um, Well, I think being a wife is just something that, like, sincerely, that's just what you are. Um, so it's like you come to a space, it's like, okay, well, if you already moving as a wife, then being wedded is like, that's the next, and that's the natural step. I think it's something that's like, oh, I just want to be married. It's just kind of like, no, when you're a wife, you know, I like, I mean, there's a husband there for you, you know. But I think, you know. Of it.
But Okotiafe says, I think that's a natural reaction because it is a deep desire inside of us to do well for our men. Yes. But have you ever, like, as women, like, have you ever denied yourself of that true desire to want to do well for our men? Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes maybe we hold back or we'll be like, well, I was going to do this. Or you may be sitting at home and a thought you're thinking about your man and you're like, I'm going to do this for him, and you might, get antsy or get scared or be slow to actually do it. And it's like, man, like you should have just hopped on it and did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just show that part of you that is real. Like, don't hold that back, you know.
Yeah. You said that the advantage for men is getting another vessel, considering I am already a vessel.
Okay, that's a tricky one. Well, I don't want to say two are better than one, but really, if she's your ish, she's made from your ribs, so it's almost like you guys are one. So I don't
Yeah,
know if it would be considered getting another vessel.
yeah. And scripture said he would cling to his woman.
Woman, Yafe said peanut butter jelly French toast. That's right. That's right. It's some of us out here that make really great peanut butter and jelly toast, and could it up and make it like you went to a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
Yes, turn peanut butter jelly and bread into a sandwich. Wow, I never would have come up with
It's the soft steakhouse.
that looks like
The vegans love eating food that looks like animals. Oh,
all right. So have you ever had peanut butter soup? Satahava, I've never had that, and I'm not sure if I want to. I never heard peanut butter and soup in the same sentence before, so I don't, I don't know. I don't think I'll be making my husband something like that.
it's, life is an active role. Marriage gives the title.
Oh, okay. So it was the reverse of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yes, we behind. Little Scholar said, in the vetting process, would it be wise to take notes or record the vetting conversation, or is that disrespectful?
What do you mean, like if you're actually having a conversation with that person and you're recording that conversation, or do you mean the conversation that our master just had with us? I feel low. Yep. Scripture says two are better than one. That is so true. That's so true.
The Hobbit said a wife comes with the knowledge or willingness to make a house a home that nurtures your matched vision. I'm not sure what you mean by she comes with the knowledge or willingness.
Well,
maybe not the knowledge, but
the wisdom. Maybe somebody gave her the knowledge or put her up on knowledge. Like this is how you be a wife, you know. But it's also like you said, you turn this house into a home. That's the song. But like is it Luther Vandross? A house is not a home. Mm-hmm. So you may be given a house, but can you turn that house into a home? And what does that look like? And you know, it may be more than just, well, I decorated it and it looks pretty, it's color coordinated, because it may not even feel like a home. You know what I mean? So it could be like, what kind of energy, what kind of spirit are you bringing in as the woman? Do you have love and kindness, and you know, does that dwell within that house to make it a home? So I think about that when you talk about a wife, willingness to learn to make a house a home. What does that look like? Where he at? Where he at? Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. I think that's what he's talking about.
He said, I love peanut butter and spinach. Okay, well, you gotta learn how to make peanut butter soup then.
That would be your meal. So for everybody who's watching, when you come to the retreat and you ask, what is Chief Yuya being served? He's getting served peanut butter soup. Peanut butter and spinach.
Leave the jelly bread off the side. We don't need that. Dr. Man said a lot of women just want marriage for the status, but to add to
not to add to the vision. So Aki Lo is talking about the conversation that you're having with that person. Should you record that vetting conversation that you're having with the person? What would be your reason for recording the conversation? That's my question.
Yeah, he answered. He said, you have a good memory, brother. I would say you should ask if she minds if you record and take notes. She may consider that thoughtful.
Okay. Maybe the way you approach it, like, hey, I want to record this because I really want to, you know, make sure I'm understanding and clear on what it is that you're looking for, where you are. Cooking and cleaning. Let's see. Akotiyafi says the Doma was charged to be the tiller, and caretaker is the hierarchy we follow in our new. The man is poured into by Yah, and he in turn pours into the lesser vessel, Isha. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, Luther Vandross, he said, turn this house into a home. We know the song. Y'all know the song. Just 3 months into consecration this year, 3 or 4 months. So don't act like you don't know the song. You know the song.
He banned. I said being wedded would bring expansion to his kingdom, because isn't he joining himself to that? I think of this thing on economy as well.
Yeah, bringing expansion. Now, sister, have y'all ever felt like maybe you came into a situation and maybe you just didn't feel like, man, I'm not bringing anything to the kingdom. Maybe I'm not expanding or building on. And if you have, like, maybe what are some things that you've done proactively as a woman to kind of say, you know what, I'm here, but I want to add on to what it is this brother is building. Let me be proactive. Let me go do something, or let me learn something new, or let me, take some things to him and say, hey, I was thinking I want to do this and this. What do you think? I was thinking I could do this because of X, Y, and Z. What do you think? So that's my question.
Look said, but a role woman is not a house, and a house is not a home.
But I thought it was a chair. I don't know. Chair is not something. I haven't heard it in so long, but yes, he knows the song.
Okay, I'm like lost on that one. Okay. He said he's being served, none your business. Okay. Anu says always wise to keep a record.
Mm-hmm.
Anu says yes, marriage is a prize and a programmed ideal that females are taught to desire. Yet being a wife is not taught. That preparation is there.
I guess it's kind of like, I remember when you say that, like being a wife, if you're taught to desire that. I think about one time I knew a person who wanted to be an actor. They was like, I want to be an actor. They was like, I want to be an actor. But they never actually practiced how to act. And they just it's like, well, how you gonna be an actor and you just, because a person who wants to be an actor, like on the drop of a dime, you give them anything, or you come up to them and you ask them something, they jump into actor mode. Like, you should just walk in the kitchen and read the back of a cereal box and you just acting it out because it's just in you to do it. But I remember that, and I used to be like, you're never gonna be an actor because you keep saying you want to be something, but you're not actually doing anything to actually become that. So it's not, maybe it's not in you to even really want to do it. You just want maybe you just want the attention, or to be able to say, I was in a movie.
Right. Yeah, think about I don't know why it came to my head, but the scripture of like 7 women would take a hold of 1 man. It's like, I would just be honored to have your name. That came to my mind. For some reason when I seen that, but I think that's that. But I just think about like it's like, because he spoke about in the something that he did. Like there's a difference between being a wife and wife, and I think that sometimes like we make certain decisions in our life where it's just like, okay, I would just be grateful just to have your name at that point, because it's like you made certain decisions, kind of like put, it's like maybe you're not qualified to be a wife, or and that's unfortunate. But I do think about I do wonder if there's like, I guess at that point it would just have to be some acceptance there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but y'all going kind of fast now.
Well said. That's the reason I got a good memory, but I miss key things. So with consent, I wanted to replay the convo and see if I missed something nonverbal, question, something I didn't pick up in that first interaction. So marriage is seen how some use the term trophy wife. There's some people put that.
Further down in the chat, Master said, "Oh, you're talking about setting up a video camera. That's some live and videotape. Yeah, I would always do that during a courtship. Within the context, I could see it embraced. Oh boy." I don't know if you should do that. I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak on that one. I can't speak on that. Oh gosh.
As long as you're cool with it, he says, it's fine. She might be like, that's thoughtful. So.
Well, thank y'all for being very active in the chat. It was a lot to try to get to everybody. It's a lot. Oh boy. And I know we
Listen,
didn't
true. I
get you say well. We didn't get to
yeah, you
everybody, but we can go ahead and wrap everything up again. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, we want to thank you for sticking in with us for this full hour. We try to do an hour. But again, we are House of Yuya. We're spearheaded by our master, Jegna, and founder of Our New Life Global Ministries, Chief Yuya. And be sure to like, share, subscribe to this channel as well as the Our New Life Global Ministries channel. And every Sabbath, you can catch our master live at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And
yeah,
if there's anything
yes,
you
and
before we close out,
yes, I was gonna say check out the live study sessions that she will be doing every Shishi, which is on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, there's your opportunity to ask questions for those who like, oh, I just want to ask some questions. Like that's the time. It's like study session, so it's a build. So we are looking for people to give. So that's the perfect space for that if you want to like ask you questions.
yes.
Thank
And
you.
catch us again live again next Sabbath, right after the live. So with that being said, we are checking out. Peace and enjoy the rest of your Sabbath.
Peace, everyone. Thank you.
You still rocking out with us? That's right. Check out some of our previous episodes to learn more about what the sisters in the house are doing. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and catch Chief Yuya live every Sabbath. Only on House of Yuya.